Well guys, it's been, shall we say, 48 hours of hell when it comes to this specific Fortnite Easter egg, which is, rather happy hours with you, been really intense when it comes to solving all sorts of numerical problems, puzzle problems, basically trying to crack the code in order to work out what Chapter 2 Season 7 is going to be entitled. So basically, on Fortnite's official Discord channel, which as you guys can currently see on screen, basically we've been given, as aforementioned, different audios to listen to, different puzzles to solve, using different symbols, different ways of basically solving the problems. So first of all, we got this rather interesting audio message from Mari, who's allegedly one of the Fortnite characters, and she went on to say, "Sorcerers, hey, thanks for coming. This is going to be amazing. After all these years of watching this, guys, we're finally getting something in return. First we just got to figure out and interpret whatever it is we've got." So they then went on to send us a audio clip, which I think, if memory serves, is basically, I think it's either Morse code or it is something to do with various other audio pieces to listen to. I think we put this into a spectrograph, if memory serves. Just in case you were wondering how we got to do this, Fortnite have basically put this join here on their Discord, and basically everyone had to click on this little image of a UFO, which then, after about a couple of hours of waiting, we were then given access to use like the discussion between all of us, and we had to crack the code by answering various different questions that were given to us. So basically we first of all got this audio clip. Basically, when that all finished, this revealed it like a spectrograph, and it had like different little lines, and we had to decode that using binary code, and all those notes that you're hearing was all part of it there. So, and she then went on to say, when you got something, tell us in crack the code channel by typing exclamation summation, then whatever the answer is. So after we found out what that actually meant, we were then received this specific image. Now, as you guys can see, we've got different hexagons here with like all sorts of different symbols around them. We've got like a little hexagon here with all sorts of like numbers separated into triangles and things like that. And also, as you guys can see at the top, we've got like some circles with X's in them, forward slashes in them, backward slashes in them, and each of these sets of 4 symbols corresponds to a letter of the alphabet. Now, I believe we managed to actually decrypt that eventually, which resulted in all sorts of random text. I think one of them said deeper. I think it was the third line, D-E-E-P-E-R. And I think, if memory serves, if we highlight, you'd probably just be able to make it out. If you look very, very closely at the bottom, 2 of these letters were actually given to us to actually help us out. I think one was an L, another one was an R, or an S, I should say. So I think the top one here was S, and the bottom one here was L. L, for those who were interested, was circle with a slash, then another blank circle with an X, then a blank circle. And S was circle with a forward slash, circle with a forward slash, circle with an X. So basically we had to decrypt that using all sorts of various like English words and things like that. Now, I don't know exactly how we come across the word deeper, but obviously E being the most common vowel in the alphabet, we can assume that, I think we managed to decrypt that using various different letters of the alphabet, and E happened to be circle with a forward, backward slash, circle. So that was rather interesting. Then we got these random hexagons, which I'll come on to in a moment, which is, I'll be honest with you, a little bit confusing at first. Then eventually we use those hexagons, as you guys can see, with the numbers and the symbols around them. Now, this is where my part came into play, and as you guys can see, we've got, like, if you look at the other screenshots here, various other basically symbols, that sort of thing. Now, I'm just going to go into a Photoshop document that I actually made, and if you look very carefully, each one of these, when you put them together, actually creates a honeycomb. And if you look very carefully, one of these specific points in the top right hand corner actually has like a little entry point. Where you see those little 3 arrows in the top right hand corner of your screen there? So I'm just going to show you the route that it actually took to basically get the final answer for this task. So if you look very carefully, some of these have like different gaps in them. Now, I'm not exactly sure, I think it may have been a fault on Epic Games' end for this, but the actual answer for this was 6, 6, 9, 4, 4, I believe it was 9, 7, 2, 2, 4, 0, 9, exit. So that was the code that we had to use. So that was 6694 4972 2409. That was basically the final code, which gave us the final thing for the actual Easter eggs, which we just managed to complete. So that's how you completed the hexagons, with those numbers with the symbols around them. And just before I carry on with that, basically if you look very carefully, and see if I can zoom in on a few of these, you will notice that some of these have symbols around them. So I'm just going to stick the number 1 here, the number 0 in the top left hand corner, for example. So if you look at this one right here, these 3 symbols, basically I would associate like with like U. Then we've got like another symbol which obviously relates to the UFOs and things like that. I've got another symbol. All of these are found on the glyphic, all the glyphs that we've managed to see around the edge of the crop circle. And we still don't actually have an idea of what these actually mean, like whether they transform into a letter or something like that. But the idea of if I were to solve this is obviously making sure that these areas interlock with each other, make sure they can like pass through freely, if that makes sense, if you were to draw a line. But also making sure that if it was in this order like this, it would have to mirror it. Not vertically but horizontally. So basically if you look, it's almost like a mirror image. If I was to draw a line, I've got a, do I have a pen right here? There we go. So if I was to draw a line from like that, you can see it's almost a mirror image of each other. If I was to draw a line horizontally and vertically, or kind of vertically, but more diagonally like that, you can see they're almost pretty much opposite each other. So, or if I was to draw a line like that, you can see that would be over there, that would be over there, that would be over there. So you can see how it mirrors each other. So that was a bit of a challenge, if I'm honest with you. Then also on top of this, we also had these hexagons to complete. So as I was saying, basically we also had various different hexagons to complete. Now this is where I found it a little bit complicated. So basically what you had to do was to create a diagram of each using these lines of the triangles, if that makes sense, to basically create a shape, for lack of a better term. And I'm still trying to get my head around exactly what this actually meant in terms of shape, but as you guys can see, where the zeros are, we weren't allowed to actually use certain lines. So for this, I'm just saying, for example, this 0 right here, we weren't allowed to use this line coming down here or this diagonal line coming up here. We could use, however, if you see, look where the number 2 is, we can draw a line right here then across to there, which obviously works. So that was a bit of a challenge. Obviously if we had multiple of these, as you guys can see, this one obviously it got a lot more complicated than it did. Now, on occasions we also got these as well. Now, this is where the binary code comes with another form of code called ASCII, ASCII. And as you guys can see, this image consisting of various like triangles or portions of different images actually relate to 6 different locations on the Fortnite map. One of which I believe was Sweaty Sands, another one was like in the island in the top right hand corner near Steamy Stacks on the current map, plus various other locations. So that was a bit of a challenge to complete. Eventually we did manage to get these completed, and as the hours went on, once we get one challenge completed, then we move on to the next one. As you guys can see, we get more images to complete. Then eventually, I think I'm just going to show you what we managed to, what this all resulted in. So I'm just going to show you all the final images of what we received. Just wait for this. While I'm waiting for that to load, you can see we've got like a few bits of redacted text here. So just give you a bit of an idea of what we had to decode. So the first thing from the spectrogram I mentioned earlier turned out to be target acquired. I'm not exactly 100% sure how we actually got all these, but next one we had was bus. Third one we managed to complete was spire with backward slash and forward slash on either side there. OSC, now the pattern reveals itself, so banana friend, perhaps potentially somewhat related to Peely. We've got another one here that says they are listening. Not exactly sure how we came to that, but that was rather interesting. This one was probably the most complicated one. Catalog entry alpha was the one. Basically, as you guys can see, these redacted bits of text are actually referring to the previous one, not the one directly below it. So bear that in mind. As you guys can see, we had more of those symbols, as aforementioned, to complete down there. We also got perfunctory salutation, which obviously refers to that big massive hexagon we had to complete. That took, I'll be honest with you, a fair while to complete. Then we had also this one right here. So as you guys can see, we've got like the current Season 6 map from Fortnite, and as you guys can see, there's all sorts of bunch of letters on them, all over the place. So if you take those I was talking about the 6 random places on the Fortnite map, and if we take all of those images, and basically this all was represented by binary code to 4 or 5 different letters, which spelled out 4 words: laser, drive, hypercore, schematics. How it came to that, actually, I haven't got a clue, to be quite honest with you, but basically the result of that was to get this specific map. Now, basically, as you guys can see, if we take, as aforementioned, 6 locations from those 6 images that were scrambled together using all those triangles, this resulted in a 5-worded, I won't say algorithm, but basically 5 words that were used in the native phonetic alphabet. Now this did take me a while to work out, but if you look very carefully where the blue squares are, if you look very carefully, there's like random blue squares dotted all over the place. This is represented by either a gap in a word or a space. So basically there was one, I think it was located at the west part of Sweaty Sands on the beach there. And I think that was represented, if I'm not mistaken, by the, if you look, probably not in that image, just see if I can find one that closely resembles it. If you look very carefully here, you can probably make out like a little beach area there, and you can see like a red umbrella. You'll probably be able to make it out if you look very carefully. So basically the idea was to use that location from, if you picture where that is in the Fortnite map. Don't know how I accidentally pressed that, but never mind. As I was saying, so basically, as you guys can see, basically we took all these finalized images. So this you probably recognise from the island just to the northeast of Steamy. We've also got this rather interesting image. Some of you may recognise these locations from the Fortnite map. We've got another one here, which, as you guys can see, there's the Steamy Sweaty Sands umbrella I was talking about. We've got another one here, from the, I think that's like one of the upward areas of basically the building next to the dam, I think that one is, if I'm not mistaken. We had another one here of one of the cozy campfires. Basically, and if you look very carefully, some of these images actually had numbers in a 3D perspective, if that makes sense as well. So that was really cool. I mentioned about that map that had all those random letters on it. Now, if we looked very carefully, there's those 6 locations I was talking about from the puzzles that we had to complete. And once we completed all of those, if we put like an overlay of the 2 maps that we used, one has all the letters on it and the other one that has all the images on it, basically you will notice that if we started from the beach one, because that's the one that had the number 1 written in 3D, you had to start from this location, we had to work our way around. So if you look very carefully, and if you draw a straight line, yes guys, a straight line, from this point, you got L, I, M, A, space, hits the, picture that as like a goal post, if you will. So L, I, M, A, space, M, I, K, I have another goal post, E, space again, F, O, X, T, off the goal post there, R, O, T, space. So what we've done so far is Lima, Mike, Foxtrot, A, off the post there, L, F, and A, off the post there, space. So that's alpha, even though it's technically the wrong spelling of alpha, but I'm pretty sure it's the American spelling. And finally, O, S, C, A, R, off the post, space, and back. So that obviously refers to Lima, Mike, Foxtrot, Alpha, and Oscar, which obviously translates to LMFAO. So when we responded to that, if you guys can see, we actually resulted in getting more of those hexagons, which I completed back from that this honeycomb-shaped object, if you will, that I mentioned to get about. So we got that final answer. Okay. Basically, I think this came from 5 o'clock today, so we got another one of those rather interesting audio clips, which is very, very similar to the first one I showed you at the beginning of this episode. Then, once we managed to decrypt that with the words begin catalogue, which is what we got from, I believe it was I think it may have been Morse code and it might have been binary code, but that was rather interesting. And went on to say, nice, how crazy that we're the ones deciphering this. I bet we're there for all the people over the end banging their heads over to try as far as we've gotten. Unfortunately, I'm getting a whole lot of math from what I'm looking at now. I'm afraid Mari and math do not go together so well. They're both mathematically intolerant, you dig? But let's see what we can find. So basically this took us, I'd say about 3 hours to complete. Now, I'm not going to go too much into these specific symbols. As you guys can see, there's 4 more hexagons that we had to complete. Basically, this all involved basically with inputs, outputs, and there's another word that's name escapes me at the present moment, but we also had to basically involve getting 3 inputs into 1 output, if that makes sense. So that, as aforementioned, took 3 hours to complete. Basically involved like glasses there, a glass of milk, and butter. So I'm not going to go too much into that, but that's how complicated it was. And basically this ended up being, after, as you guys can see, 3 hours and 50 minutes, we actually managed to code that as butter, milk, glasses, milk, glasses, glasses. So, and this, where I took ownership of this, so took the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 hexagons that we needed to basically complete this task. So as aforementioned, we also had 9, 4, 4, 9, 7, 2, 2, 4, 0, 9, and that happened to be a Fortnite Creator code, which actually gave us the subtitle for Chapter 2, Season 7. So as you guys can see, there's that code that we managed to work out. At the end of the maze is another code, but to what? Are we supposed to respond somehow? Should we have made a puzzle in return? We're being rid to our very first encounter. It feels like we're getting closer and closer to the actual meat of whatever this message is. And folks, whether it's a message of doom or destruction, or an invitation to the rather pool party of the next nebula, all of them really proud of us. The last reality. So there it is, the cipher, the last reality. So basically, the last reality is the code name, or the subtitle, if you will, to Chapter 2, Season 7. So what are your thoughts of that, guys? Please do let me know in the comments box down below. I want to give a big, huge, massive shout out to every single person that was involved doing this. Basically, it involves numerous Fortnite leakers, YouTubers, some people you probably may have heard of. iFire Monkey was involved in this. I think I was following all sorts of different YouTube, Twitch streamers. I want to give a big massive shout to, I think his name is, it goes by the Confused, but I think his name is also another name. Fuskond? I can't, sorry if I pronounced your name wrong there, buddy, but I want to give a big massive shout out to him. He's been a huge inspiration on that. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, smash the thumbs up button. If you're new to the channel, please smash the subscribe button. Don't forget the notification bell so I can see more videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, peace out. I'll see you in Chapter 2, Season 7.